One question I get all the time is, hey, how many horses can I have on this piece of property? And it obviously depends on where that's at. Where in the state of Illinois is that property? We've got here in Grundy County. I live in Morris, Illinois, and that's in Grundy County. So Grundy County. So the animal per acre is going to be set at the county level. They're going to require you a minimum amount of acres to start having horses, cattle, and then they are going to give you a animal unit per acre after that. So in Grundy County, it's 2 acres to have your first one, and then it goes at the rate of 1.5 acres per horse after that. Kendall County, again, they start with 2 acres to start having horses, and then it's 1 acre per horse after that. So county by county, all over the state, it's going to be different. There's places where it's a little extreme, and not necessarily that I agree with it, but like up in Cook County, Chicago, you can have, as many, I don't think they even have a limit. If you've got stalls, a barn with stalls, I think as many stalls as you have, that's how many they'll allow you to have. I specifically remember one piece of property in Cook County that, which is, this is up by Chicago, so they don't have a lot of grazing land to begin with, but there was a property on 1 acre, and it was a riding stable, that's kind of what they were classified as, and they had upwards of like 70 horses it was either 3/4 of an acre or just over an acre and a quarter, something like that. Not ideal for horse living, but you go out in the more rural areas like Morris, Illinois, Coal City, Illinois, out towards Seneca, Ottawa. Seneca, Ottawa area, that's over in LaSalle County. And off the top of my head, I cannot remember what their minimum is, but it's all throughout the state. It's going to be pretty similar in the rural areas. It's kind of they kind of go off of a 1 acre per horse, pretty close to that. And one of the reasons that's 1 acre per horse, like people, if you've talked to people down south, down in Texas, places like that, though that sounds extremely high to them because they do not have the type of grazing that we have up here in Illinois. So there's a lot of downsides to raising animals in Illinois. Far more upsides to it. One of them being the grazing. We have the best grazing here in Illinois in the entire country. You will not find land in the United States that's better than what we have here in Illinois. Good black dirt that produces high quality hay and grasses that horses thrive off of. And that is just, one of the many upsides to raising livestock here in Illinois. But anyways, back to, how many, everybody asked me how many horses per acre can I have here. So it depends on what county you're in. So Grundy County, like we were talking, you got to have minimum of 2 acres. So if you've got 3 acres, you can have 1 horse because you've got more than 2. Okay, so that gives you the right to have 1 horse. And of course, this has got to be zoned A1. If you're incorporated in town, these rules are different. A lot of times they're not a lot of times, almost all the time, they're not going to allow farm animals and horses inside city limits. You can get a variance, special use permit. You got to have pretty good reasoning and get that approved through the zoning process. You can get zoning changes also. But the special use permits are a little bit easier to do. But like I said, it's not really for the board to approve you to have farm animals in town, probably not going to happen. But back to what we were saying. So the 1 acre per horse. So you're going to have, so on the 3 acre or 1.5 acre in Grundy County, if we're talking Grundy County, so you've got 3 acres and it's you got 1 horse for the first 2 acres. And then after that, 1.5 acres per horse. So on 3 acres, technically in Grundy County, you can have 1 horse. You bump that up to 5 acres, and obviously we can start adding horses. If you've got 20, 30 acres, that's, the that rule still does apply, but you're probably not going to run into your limit on those properties. So some of the reasons that they have these is so that we don't have hoarding situations. We obviously want to make sure that the animals are well taken care of, well fed, and it's not that they can't be kept on a smaller property. They definitely can. They just need to be picked up after and fed good quality hay 24/7, so that their diet consists of that 24-hour intake, just like if they were in a grazing situation out in the pasture. So, something to think about. And if you were having a question like that, hopefully that helps. You can always reach out to me, obviously, with more, get a little more in-depth answers on some of these things. And if you're in a different part of the state, let me know what those grazing practices are and the regulations over where you're at. I know down south there's a lot more property where people have 50, 60, 70 acres and more. It's pretty common to have that size property down there, and you're able to not really worry about those restrictions. But in the little bit more populated areas closer to the towns, where land gets a little bit harder to find for the price, that's where we run into these. So a lot of people in the 5 to 10 acre market, you're having trouble figuring out how many horses you can keep there. And one thing that changes, so if you're on a 5 acre property, but you have a stall barn with an indoor arena attached to it, that's something that, can change everything. They actually add that number, and I don't have the numbers in front of me right now, but they add to that, how many you can have based off of the size of that building. There is certain setbacks, and that's going to, differ from county to county too. Grundy County, that building has got to be 100 foot off of your property line, and so there's rules to follow, but that can add to how many horses you can have on that property. So, anyways, reach out to me in the comments, and if you'd like a clearer answer on your specific area, I can help get those numbers for you. Thanks.